Mama D says the way to a man's heart is through his stomach. LeeAnne says it's other ways.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Old school Britney coming at us with Chaotic.
Britney's coming through the woodwork, y'all. She's like relevant again.
Britney's back.
Oh,
Especially
excuse me, always relevant.
person in Las Vegas right now. So
yes, I'd say she's
$500,000 a show or something.
So who are these other people hanging out? Britney's the one bringing in the money. In Domination coming soon.
Exactly. And this song is perfect. It's called Chaotic, and this episode was
Very
everything
on brand.
chaotic.
That was very on brand.
There's a lot going on, right? Typical Dallas, entertaining. A lot chaotic, but really, what happened? I don't know. We'll talk about it.
So much happened. Yes, welcome back to the Real Housewives of Dallas panel, y'all. This is season 3, episode 11, A Recipe for Disaster. My name is Rachel Robillard.
Disaster's delicious. My name is Charles Conoly. I'm back, y'all.
He's back.
What's up, party people? Yes, I'm here again every week. I'm Erica Edwards.
Hi, kids. It's Grant's Rants from the podcast Grant's Rants Hollywood Talk.
That is right. We are here to spill some tea and talk about all the chaoticness of this episode.
And ketchup.
Right? Lots of ketchup. We're here to catch up on today's episode. So, overall thoughts. What did y'all think? What do you think, overall thoughts? Oh, I'm glad someone thinks I'm funny.
No, I just think the pause was funny. Oh, sorry. Overall thoughts.
I don't know.
It was...
He just thinks I'm funny looking, let's be honest. Let's be honest.
Overall thoughts about this episode. I'm not like a religious viewer of Real Housewives of Dallas, but every time I come in here and I watch this episode, I am fully subscribed from the first minute to the last because these little golden nuggets of shade and golden one-liners are all over this show, which is what I live for. So.
Right?
It's funny to watch the show because you'll turn to her and you'll be like, no. There's a look on your face like they're not saying anything, but you're like, did you catch that? Like, it's basically like...
Well, the radar is up for the shade. The shade
I love it. It's fun to watch you
the
enjoy
shadar.
it.
Exactly. I just feel like this episode was what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
It was new stuff happening, new places, new people. We got Jimmy in there, which is Cameron's mother-in-law. Mama D had a very big part.
I am applauding Mama D for making his appearance on almost every scene. Welcome to the show, girl.
Right?
Yes.
It was good.
I loved it. I thought it was really nice to see more of the men this episode too. I've loved getting really, learning a little bit more about Jeremy. So I really enjoyed that a lot.
Right? We saw Jeremy, Travis.
Fine, yes.
Yeah, quote of the episode. I'm glad I have a penis.
Yes.
Right?
We're glad he does too.
Right?
Apparently, he has one to say. You're mic'd up. You're on a reality show, and that's what you say.
Okay, first of all, I'm sure someone wrote that for him, but very well written, very well done, and you get an A+ for that.
Says the guy with one eye. He's still I still can't. I mean, it's still the patch that he's still y'all know he wears a different patch to match his shirt. I think it's he very
that's
stylish.
Jeremy. It wasn't Jeremy saying that about the penis.
Jeremy said
it was Jeremy. You're right. It was Jeremy who said the penis joke.
And Rich was like, "I'm glad you did too."
We need to get
right.
Yeah.
That's right. It was Jeremy.
Yes.
Jeremy and Deandra really like to talk sexualness, and it's interesting. Jeremy mentions the penis, and Deandra loves her #HotHubby. It's a lot of. Well, Charles likes it. But the one boy that wasn't... Oh, I guess we did see Mark this episode, too. I guess you're right. We did see a lot. We saw all of them.
Yes.
Yeah. So let's go into the shadiest moments, thinking of a shadar.
God.
Shadiest moments.
My shadar was on, and I just have to say, the shadiest moment... This actually made me gasp audibly when they were pulling up to Marianne's house, which is Mama D's friend, and Mama D greets them... Welcome to the country. And it's clearly not Mama D's house. I clocked that shade, Mama D. I clocked you shading Marianne for living out in the sticks. Welcome to the country. Like we're bumpkins out here frying
Question.
pies.
Yeah.
You guys from Dallas. They talk about the importance of zip codes.
Right, that was
Okay.
not within the zip code.
That was
I think
not within
that's
the
where
zip
the
code.
shade was coming
Okay,
from.
I'm trying to follow the crumbs.
Right?
Okay.
They're
Yes.
saying, "Oh, we're going to 74382." Like that's not the right zip code, but I'm sure Mama D was thinking they cannot be.
Outside the city line.
Yeah, you can
Wow,
rest
okay.
assured that Mama D had her Find My iPhone and her location turned off when she went into that zip code. Okay, nobody was to know.
That's something I would do.
And Charles is from the sticks,
I'm the
so like
sticks,
he's
honey.
he's
I
so
know.
country, and so he's like, wait, I see a house next to one another. This is still cookie cuttered houses.
I know. She was like, "Welcome to the country," and I'm like, "I see a curb and gutter. Like, where are the animals?
Yeah.
Where's the dirt
Where's
road?
the
To
cattle?
me, it was like
Where's
a
the
suburban
manure?
neighborhood. It was like maybe a gated community or something, but it wasn't like
To Mama D
It's
was
a
country.
suburb.
she
It was
wasn't
a
on
suburb.
acres. You know what I mean?
Yeah, just in the suburb. Erica, what was your shadiest?
For me, I think, because, it all kind of runs together. But I had Brandi when she was helping Travis pick out a ring for Stephanie. And she was like, 10 years means something. And LeeAnne won't make it to 1. So I thought that was pretty shady.
Yikes.
Well, we all reacted to the moment. I don't want to steal yours. I don't know if this is the same one or whatever. We don't know. But when Deandra said that, Deandra says it's my fault that she has a weight problem. This is Mama D coming at her daughter on international TV.
Yes, and what I loved about that one, because I had that one as my second one too, was, again, shout out to the producers and the editors to the supposedly fat 4th grade picture of her from 1979. I'm like, I know. She was like, I'm gonna diet in 4th grade, and they showed a photo.
She's like
I was
fully
like,
72
oh
pounds.
my god,
Yeah, like
you
a regular-
guys.
a regular
I was
girl.
like, no.
Yeah,
So
and
the
Mama
editors-
D, that actually made me gasp. Actually,
I
It was
did.
the,
Yeah.
it
That
was
was-
A weight
that one.
problem.
Yeah,
You're
and
gonna
she
say that
blames
about your
me.
daughter.
Yeah.
As
She was
if the girl doesn't have an, if she doesn't, she does now have an image problem.
Exactly.
That
one
was
so
some
shady.
shade, Mama D. That was. Now, I have to do my shadiest moment with Deandra and LeeAnne. So, it's very interesting how Deandra was granted the queen apron, and
yes.
LeeAnne's response was, "Yeah, queen of talking back." It's like, oh
my God.
there's a
Apron-
lot of hostility there.
An apron says 1,000 words.
How about the shade of giving this generic floral garden apron to
Yes,
LeeAnne?
exactly. Not only did
Those
Deandra
other
get a
aprons.
queen apron, LeeAnne is stuck with everyone else gets the same generic
Those other
brand.
aprons were some Golden Girls
Yeah.
bumpkin in the kitchen in 1987 aprons. These were not sexy. They were floral and they had leaves on them, and nobody wanted to be wearing
I
those.
thought they were totally cute, and I liked that she was like, "But my daughter's the queen bee." That's all I thought. But you have to have your daughter's back. 2 thumbs up, Mama D.
At least get the
guess.
cinched
I give her
waist
credit for
apron.
that.
Yeah, she gives her the queen apron and then ultimately fat
Everybody
shamed
else's
her.
apron came from Target, so that was basically
Right?
Target.
Yes, and we'll get more into the aprons in a little bit, but let's start off with how the intro was. This is when Deandra was having a photo shoot with Jeremy.
Yes.
Jeremy was the photographer of her photo shoot, Hard Night, Good Morning, and she gives us the reason why the brand is called Hard Night, Good Morning, and it goes back to when she was in college. She partied all night and then would apply her goodness on and have a refreshing good morning. And so it really, it's not meant for an older crowd. It's more younger was what she was saying.
Yeah.
But then she's like, but not 18, more her age, so that's why she's the star of the photo shoot, and it's like,
Yeah,
okay.
I don't know about this whole branding thing. Like, you name it Hard Night, Good Morning, and you want to target younger buyers, and then you're the face of the brand, and I don't know, Hard Night, Good Morning. Would you buy something named Hard Night, Good Morning? I thought it was a sex line.
Well, Deandra actually gave us last season.
I have it in
last
my
season
bathroom.
she gave us
The L22.
The L22.
Yes.
So I've tried it and it smells really good and I like it. I don't remember to put it on every
Yeah,
night.
no, it was
That's
That's why I don't
smells.
always have a good morning.
That was Shade Grant.
What? Where am I gonna put it? I live in a studio. Where am I gonna put it?
She gave us some last season. I still have it in my bathroom. You haven't been using that?
Have you used it?
It's active. twice. I may have used it. Yes.
Come on, Grant.
Okay,
You gotta
Grant. I
say
might
your
need to take it
username
from you.
every night.
Grant's skin looks great. Maybe he doesn't need it.
Oh,
right,
no,
you're right,
thank
you're
you.
right,
But
you're
no,
right.
I mean, I have to shave, and, I look like a
Still on
disaster
my
on the show.
bathrobe.
I never came onto the show looking so poorly. So maybe I need a little more than the L22. So the shade is on me.
Yeah, but is the L22 in? I don't know. We haven't really talked about much of the L22
No, I
this
know.
season.
I
So
know.
maybe
Yeah.
they're full in stock, maybe they ain't.
That's the real
Who
shade.
knows?
Yeah.
And that's something you really can't fake about. And that's when the girls are now at Elizabeth W. Boutique. And they talk about this is where LeeAnne, Cameron, and Cary are together. And LeeAnne is telling the girls, like, oh, Deandra thinks my relationship is fake. It's been 9 years, yada, yada. And then Cary's like, I just really like Cary this episode. I know Grant, like, has a little thing towards Cary, but I think Cary's really proven herself this season. And I really like how she goes, 9 years, that's a long time to fake something. I can't even fake something for 30 minutes. But
30 seconds.
Or 30 seconds. 30 seconds. But
She's another one who always has to talk about her sex life constantly. I mean, come
know,
on. We talked about that
clearly.
last
right,
season.
was that like a...
Girl,
assume
come
so,
on.
yeah.
Rachel's a Christian. She doesn't know anything about sex references. But when we were watching that episode, Rachel was
Okay.
like, oh my God.
Oh my gosh.
If you're going to have me on the panel, you have to be ready for me to expose you. Yes, it was a sex reference. Okay.
I was like,
It was
okay.
Dallas folk.
All right. It was, yeah, there were a
Absolutely.
lot of like sex references
Yeah.
this episode.
I
I was
actually-
like, oh, okay.
Okay, but I just have to say, I think that LeeAnne was totally right in saying that her relationship is out of bounds. Like, it's nobody's business but her own. And it seemed like were the other girls at the table like in the same boat as her? Yeah.
Yeah,
Supportive.
Cameron was there to chime in, but she didn't really talk as much as Cary, right?
I felt like Cameron and Cary were like kind of on Deandra's side with this.
About how...
Oh wait, no. With
LeeAnne?
Yeah, about her relationship. But I totally agreed with LeeAnne and Cary, and in that like her relationship is off limits to Deandra.
Yeah.
I missed this portion of the show.
I caught some of that. I didn't think, I don't know. To me, I think later on, I forgot who mentions it. I don't know if it was Cary or somebody. And to me, it's like, really, after you talked about Cary and Mark, now you have the nerve to say your relationship is off limits to somebody? Like, that's the thing that's kind of interesting is that, or ironic or whatever, is that, yeah, you can say your relationship is off limits, but perhaps it's not because you dogged other people's relationships.
I think you have a point with that, honestly. I defend LeeAnne and I enjoy her, but she did get 2 seasons worth of drama talking about their marriage.
I know.
You have
Well,
a point, Erica.
So
you
it's
do.
just, and I forgot, someone at the end of the episode, if someone is watching, can refresh my memory, but at the end of the episode, somebody made that point. Maybe it was Cary or someone else. Yeah, it was Cary. At the end, she was like, it's just interesting that the issues she's having with Deandra and Brandi are the same ones that she went through herself. And that was
With their family
exactly,
issues.
that's very much, it's like, okay, now you see what you really were doing, all those rumors you placed out there about Mark.
Right?
So, yeah.
yeah, because LeeAnne was, the past couple seasons, very notorious on putting other people's family on blast, the house girls. And so, and I always say, once you point a finger, there's always 2 pointing back, or 2 or 3, whichever way you want to point.
Depending on how you play,
true,
but
yeah.
exactly.
So
yeah.
it's just kind of like it's coming back to her. It's going full circle. So Cary's being supportive-ish about this, but she's also like, now you know how it feels to be ridiculed over family issues.
I mean, I don't really like that whole mindset of like, well, you did it, so you shouldn't be annoyed when people do it to you. Like, people can feel how they feel. Like, if LeeAnne talked badly about other people's relationships, that doesn't really like make it fair game to talk about hers. Like if LeeAnne were to talk about my relationship, I wouldn't like retaliate, just like accuse her of accuse her relationship of being a fraud.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really
I
make
see
it
what you're
fair
saying,
game.
but people, you've heard it a million times.
Hey,
people in glass houses should never throw stones.
Yeah.
Hey, look, these women are collecting a salary to be able to talk about other people's relationships. At the end of the day, it's a job. This is just part of it. So, like, you know, what are they going to do?
And it's interesting, too.
Think the people in their ears, you know, talk about the relationship problems or mention this. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. And it's interesting, too, because right when LeeAnne was bringing it up, she immediately started talking about Deandra's drinking problem. So you can tell, like, because she said she was bullied in school. And I think because she was bullied, she was like, I refuse to be the one at the receiving end of bullied. And if anybody's going to even start to think about bullying me, I'm going to go back at them 10 times harder because I refuse to put my head back in the locker. She's very strong about that.
I can relate to her with that, especially when it comes, like, with me. Like, I'm always like, I won't chew people out, but, like, I'll say something where they'll think twice before they try to come at me again with something else. Like, you know, and you're going to be quick and you're going to be direct. And that's how I think she is. Like, she's not going to be back in that locker situation. So she's going to, like, she's not going to push you. She'll shove you out of the way.
Right.
I can really honestly relate to that. Might not be the healthiest thing, but that's...
Yeah, I think now's
I'm
the time
there.
to publicly say that Grant's been bullying this entire panel this entire season. Somebody send help because it's becoming a problem.
That's why I'm only here every once a month.
I mean, so LeeAnne has been in her perspective, she's been very bullied by Brandi and LeeAnne, and I love how she said, drink less, talk less, get the F out of my way. So she's coming at it, and I feel like that's what we're gonna see with the next episode for sure. But she also made the comment, she didn't mention her hands, but she also mentioned in her comment, someone is going to die and it won't be me.
I love it. Love it.
You love it?
I love
That's
it.
just like these ain't hands, they're not just hands.
It's
I
so
think she needs a
melodramatic.
meditation bowl. Get her to bowl somebody. She
Right?
needs
So
to meditate.
melodramatic. No, I look at LeeAnne and I can see that someone, and I'm the same damn way, someone can wind you up, you know, and then she knows the cameras are on her and she's just like, of course she's going to throw out a line like that. It's over the top, it's embellished, of course, but it's like, you know, you can wind her up and get her tight where she's gonna threaten you, like, to act how she operates. I like it.
Nothing spices up a show like homicide. Welcome to Real Housewives of Dallas.
I just love that LeeAnne is not afraid. Like, even she was there and she was like calling LeeAnne Brandi a drunk. She's like, yeah, I said it because I meant it. And I just like that she just owns it. And people don't credit her with owning it. We saw it last week or the week before. They say, you don't own what you say. That is so stupid. She does.
Preach it, Grant.
I don't want to be like, I don't want to like live up her ass, but like I can relate to her and I can follow some of these things. And look, this is my view.
Yes.
How about that?
Right?
Yes.
And so I feel like we should just go right into the cooking class with leeway.
My favorite part of the show.
And so
The cooking thing.
yeah.
Oh
like
my
the
god,
Yeah.
that was shade in and of itself when LeeAnne was like, I think it's great that I was invited to this cooking thing.
Like, did they ever give it like a title? You know, they like, you know, like LeeAnne's lunch party or like, you know, like Brandi Land event. Did they ever give it a name or was it just like cooking thing?
They just said it was just like the location. I want to say it was just the location. It was Marion's house.
The country.
It's Marion, right?
Country.
Marion's house.
And Mama D, not only does she not want to mess up that kitchen with all this cooking, she doesn't want a crew traipsing through her house. I know.
Hey,
you know what I mean?
True.
Like, I'm following.
Yeah,
I'm
and if there
following.
was going to be a fight between Leanne and Deandra, she didn't want no blood on her carpet.
Or ketchup.
Ketchup.
Smart.
Right?
Smart.
So they all go to Marion's house, and Mama D and her have been friends for 40 years. And so Deandra said it, and I'm about it. Like, they fight all the time. That if they can fight, then hopefully Deandra and LeeAnne can make amends.
Too.
Yes,
What
I
are you
agree.
setting them up to do? It's like,
Make
we're friends
amends.
and we fight all the time. We're still fighting. So LeeAnne and Deandra, just keep fighting, girl.
But I really hope that they'll be friends after all this. I feel like it just needs some time, and maybe with the next season, they will make amends. But
yeah, I don't know.
I know they're currently not well, but I'm still just holding on that they will be
I
well.
hope so. I hope everyone
eventually.
we can get along.
Yeah, I hope
Right?
so. I think a lot of it comes down to what your friends say about you when you're not friends. Because, yeah, like I have falling out with people, but if they were to then tell all of my business, we would never get back to being as close as we were. So, I mean, I think part of it
feel you.
depends on how far they go down that rabbit hole of discussing each other to other people.
I have a question. Before this party started, they were arriving at this country house, and they were getting out of the car, and I saw Mama D interact with her daughter and give her a hug, and the way their interaction was almost seemed like family friends to me. And then when LeeAnne came, it almost seemed like there was more of a connection. This was just my perception, but I wonder if any of you picked up on that exchange. Like, it wasn't like like my mom and my grandmother are very close. Like I just see like, you know, it's more familial, it's more close, it's not so formal. Where that was like very like, let me receive you. Maybe because she knew she was on camera, but it just seems like not like a real, true, like close, comfortable relationship.
Mama D and Deandra have not only just a mother-daughter relationship, but a work relationship too. They see each other all the time in the office, and so I feel like it's more just, and that's where their drama stems from. And so it's like, okay, like I probably saw you earlier that day in the office, kiss, kiss, hug, hug, but LeeAnne, I haven't seen you in a minute, and you're a second daughter to me. So I feel like that was more of the embrace.
And also, like, I think that Mama D and Deandra both knew that this cooking thing was like kind of had a mission, and that was to like rekindle things with LeeAnne. And so maybe Mama D and Deandra were like, it was more of just like a casual greeting, because like, okay, we need to greet each other and like get down to business with this cooking thing. And like with LeeAnne coming, Mama D wanted to be very warm and welcoming, like hello, come rekindle things with my daughter.
Bring
I
her
don't want my
guard
daughter
down.
I don't want my daughter staying messy out on these streets. She has a reputation to rebuild, and getting in an argument with you might ruin that, honey.
And I think for me, Mama D has always had her little challenges with how she shows affection, I think, to Deandra over different episodes and over the season. And I think sometimes it's in the other side videos and kind of how she advises her where like her real feelings come out. So I think she might be that person that's like has a challenge with showing affection to people she's really close to, actually. Too.
Could be.
I for sure feel that.
Yeah. And so there was a mission. I feel like everyone was there for a purpose. And so we had Mama D and her husband, we had Deandra and her husband, Cameron and her husband, Court, and also Court's mom, aka Cameron's mother-in-law, Jimmy. Jimmy had a very big part in this episode.
The Westcott family mantle.
Right? And let's talk about how each of them were kind of spread out to talk about the issue at hand. So Jeremy and Rich were together, you know, talking about penises. And then Mama D and LeeAnne were together. Mama D pulled LeeAnne to the side, and I'm like, okay, this is going to be good. I was expecting a little more from that. But they start talking, and so what did y'all think about their conversation? Because LeeAnne, I'll start. LeeAnne said how she's like, I'm just, you know, looking out for Deandra, and the only side Brandi wants to see in LeeAnne is getting drunk. And so that's when she's trying to defend herself.
Mama D knows not to go too deep into the woods regarding LeeAnne and Deandra. I think Mama D just kind of wanted to hear LeeAnne's side of things and didn't want to try to like sway LeeAnne one way or another, because I think that she knew that it could get really messy if it was like LeeAnne versus Mama D and Deandra. She just didn't want to entangle herself in all of that mess. And honestly, Mama D, I think she is old enough and mature enough and wise enough to know that this is going to blow over, and she doesn't want to make a mountain out of a molehill.
Yeah, she wants them to resolve it.
But it might be made into a mountain next episode, as we have seen.
I know. Hee.
Yeah, I felt like she was very kind of neutral with what she said. Clearly, I think, and we see this, you know, clearly she stands behind her daughter 100%. So, but I think that in the end, she was just like, to let this become between your friendship would be stupid, instead of really pushing harder about whatever. And I do feel like LeeAnne sort of doubling down and making these drinking allegations to her mother is kind of like going a little bit kind of crazy with it.
Yeah, she has to know that mentioning the alcoholism is going to trigger D. I mean, D had a, like, it's one thing to talk about reality TV and throw around names and stuff, but, you know, Dee really faced this with, you know, a suicide, and her whole life changed. Her marriage ended because of this. I mean, it was just like a, you know, it means a lot more to her than just like a reality show line or like a label to slap on someone. So, you know, she did say like, you know, well, that concerns me. I get it. But I think she kind of just did a courtesy by like listening to LeeAnne's side of it all. And I like that LeeAnne talked about how she's like, you know, behaving poorly at charity events. Like, I love it's always going back to Dallas Society.
Exactly.
Always Dallas Society.
Right, and speaking of Dallas Society, it's pretty apparent that Jimmy is very high up there in it. Very, very high up in Dallas Society. So she started off by saying Dallas is a conservative city that likes to talk, and then just goes full on to, all right, reputation. And she made the comment, or didn't say it verbatim, but how I took it was that you are who you affiliate yourself with. And so that's why she was kind of like, just be careful with Brandi. That's who they were specifically talking about. And I don't think they actually said Brandi's name. Correct me if I'm wrong. I just think that was just like inferred as people are talking, and that, or actually no, Brandi's name was talking because they made the comparison. Brandi's 35 and Deandra's closer to 50. So there is this age gap, and with age, like, you're in different parts of your life, but that's...
Well, I thought that was awkward when Jimmy was like talking to Deandra about this whole drinking thing. I think that it's like the onus is on Cameron to talk to Deandra about that if she really is her friend. I think that it embarrassed Deandra for Jimmy to come forward in front of Cameron and say, you need to like clean up your game because you have a reputation. That's embarrassing. And if Cameron, like, that just shows like Cameron is telling her mother-in-law all of Deandra's business, and Deandra's probably thinking like, wait a minute, if Jimmy knows that I'm like drunk at this one charity event, who else knows that I got drunk at one charity event?
Well, that's what she's trying to prove. It's like, it's not just Cameron telling her, but people talk, and so Jimmy probably heard from other people about this as well. So I don't think it was... I feel like Cameron has a hard time expressing how she feels and does kind of need a little support to lean on, and that's why Jimmy was there to talk to her about this issue at hand. And so I personally like Jimmy there because she wasn't just a friend of Cameron's. It is her mother-in-law. And Cameron was married to the Westcott name, and so that is a very prestigious of itself. And then Simmons too. So Simmons to Westcott, it was like, you know, a talk with the big surnames.
Yeah, and I thought that was horrendous. Horrible, as Cameron would say, because I think absolutely, like Deandra said, I don't bring my mom to a dogfight. That's exactly what she did. It's like, oh, okay, not only am I talking about you and the other people are talking about you, but this person which you would be afraid to cross is also letting you know that people are talking about you. And it was like, really? And then the whole thing when her mother-in-law was like, yeah, I've stopped Cameron from being friends with people. Wow, really?
Yeah, really?
Cameron, how are you sitting there as an adult person thinking that it's okay? Like, my mom-in-law told me I can't hang with you anymore. Like, that was totally very uncomfortable, very, like, you know,
like who
very Stepford Wife-like to me. I was like, wow, you know, it was kind of tough
like,
to watch.
why?
I have a lot to say on this.
Oh, go ahead.
So I think that this Jimmy was super preachy. Like, and they kept cutting back to her, and she was trying to explain. And it's almost like when you want to get away from a family member at like a Christmas thing. It's like, hey, I get it. But not only that, like, this is everything that Deandra is resisting, and this is why Deandra is trying to find her own voice in Dallas society, because we've learned from previous episodes that she feels such pressure to maintain an image and to be a Simmons and all that stuff. And she's had it, and she's like, I'm like, you know, a woman of a certain age, and I don't want to have to be so buttoned up anymore. And that's what she's used to, and that's who's always been on her behind and telling her, like, don't be friends with these people. Behave this way. You do this at a charity event. And she's kind of like, I've had enough of this. Like, I have a taste of reality TV and a little bit of fame, and I'm tired of being babied like this. And so I think this is only going to push her away further. I don't think that it's going to help whatever Jimmy's pushing here. And as regarding the Westcotts, again, you guys from Dallas, I want to know, are you familiar with that name? Is it as big as they make it out to seem?
I don't know who they are.
Specifically, no.
I'm not from Dallas, but
No.
I don't know her.
Interesting.
I mean,
You know, there's
You
the
don't know Jimmy Westcott?
There's the Westcotts, and then there's the Conleys, and then
Wow.
there's the
Where are you on the
Robillards.
mantle, Charles? Where are you?
You know, we're on the
Real south.
Yeah, we're on the next floor. The mantle's in the living room on the first floor, and we're in the suite on the second
Right?
floor.
I just love, you know, I just give a shout out to the editing, because they let LeeAnne once again explain the importance of who these people are in society, and she talked about the importance of these names and these families. Once again, the structure, the importance of charity events. Like, I love that, because that's like season 1 LeeAnne. Like, everyone hated her for the charity,
Right.
but only she can make it sound so vital, like so
I feel like the
important.
Westcotts are like the Ewings or something. I was like,
I know, right?
Where's JR? Please save us.
But that's my thought on Jimmy. You know, that she whatever she was trying to get out of that is just Deandra's going to resist even more.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I agree.
And I just loved how, I mean, I have to state the obvious. Whenever Jimmy talked, nothing really moved besides her lips. Did y'all? I mean, like.
Oh my gosh, there was another mother on
Baby was
Real
snatched.
Housewives of Miami, I think, that also had
Yes.
an exceeding amount of facial surgery. But
Well, you know what happens? It's not only this. This
Or
is
the Botox, whatever it is.
It's not only
Yeah.
the surgery. It's just that things settle.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean. Gravity is a real thing.
She was tugged, snatched,
Yes.
pulled.
Yes. But gravity
Beat.
does still allow your face to move. I'm just gonna say that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One place that you all should move is onto our YouTube channel. Okay. So, our YouTube channel, in case you don't know, our network really produces after shows for nearly all your favorite TV shows. From dramas, reality TV, sci-fi, and more, there is no network that works harder to serve television fans. But we need your help. We're asking that you please subscribe to one or more of our YouTube channels. So by subscribing to our channel, YouTube will suggest content that's tailor-made for you, and you'll help AfterBuzz continue to grow. And if you're worried about pesky notifications, don't be, because they're optional. So hit that subscribe button now, or press it. You don't have to hit it. For this channel, and check out our other AfterBuzz YouTube channels as well. Let us know you did so in the comments, and we'll thank you on air. For now, thanks for being the best fans and for helping us be the ESPN of TV Talk.
Thank you,
because
thank
without you, we couldn't talk about Jimmy's snatched face, which looks amazing, by the way. Love you, Jimmy.
I love you too, Jimmy. I too one day want to be snatched.
Yeah, pulled and tugged.
I just
I'm
want to
in my
marry into a
mid-60s.
well-to-do family. I mean, I'm envious. You know,
Yeah.
I would love
Yeah.
that.
Hashtag goals. So for
Seriously, just
Yes,
even have one
definitely.
vacation house. That's a goal.
sure. Right? And it
Never
seems.
mind like a mansion in the mountains and then a house in Montecito and
Or
all.
just one family jet. I think I just need one jet.
I still
Amen,
want a PJ
amen.
party on a PJ, so Cameron, you know where to find me.
Yeah.
Yeah, Cameron, my initials are EDE. So that you know.
Smart, get that out there. I like that.
Now, Cameron got really offended at the mural reveal in Deep Ellum. So in Deep Ellum, this is where Jeremy had his picture that he took into a mural, which
It was beautiful.
It was amazing. I
Grant
really
didn't
I thought
like
it was
it.
great.
I mean, I like it from what it meant. Of course, the symbolism of it all.
This was Grant whenever the reveal happened. I saw him out of the corner of my eye.
It was all right. I mean,
Gorgeous, beautiful, patriotic girl.
it has
so
nothing
long
to do
to
with this.
make.
It has nothing to do with the subject matter. It's just the artist's take on the faces. I mean, I just didn't. I didn't think it was.
You know, what
I don't think it was worth the black tarp. I just put it out there and let it just, let's just enjoy it for what it is. I don't know. When you have a reveal like that, you expect to look at the Mona Lisa, okay? Like you expect to see French art or something really over the top.
You know what would have been a gag if instead of
Good job, Grant.
the
Great job,
the servicemen's faces, it was just all the housewives' faces.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
painted
like
on there.
everyone.
It was like LeeAnne breakdancing in the middle.
Again, I want to be
That'd
very
be so
clear.
good.
It has nothing to do with the messaging of and the subject matter. It's just the artist's take on some of the faces. I expected a little bit more.
Oh.
All right, Grant.
All right.
And
we're having our own shadiest
yeah,
moments.
Yeah.
we
Right
are
now.
just exactly.
I've said so much worse over here.
Yeah,
Whatever.
that's true. But so just a little bit more. So this is when Deandra's feelings are hurt, and she confronts Cam about Jimmy offending her, but Cameron was just
Incredulous.
I see where
incredulous.
Cameron is coming from, and by the way, she just left. Like, whoa! Cameron made a statement by leaving it.
Oh, shoot.
Just spilled my water.
We're gonna leave the
It's okay.
studio right
Oh
now.
my goodness.
So
Cameron.
No,
Yeah.
really though. I enjoyed Cameron because she stood up and she stood for something.
She
and she was
did.
like, you know what? I'm out. And she even gave a little.
Talk to the hand.
Yep.
That's exactly what she said. Talk to the hand.
Yep.
And she walked out. She went,
Bye.
I think that
You know
she
what
gave her the
that
hand.
shows me?
Yeah.
You know what that shows me? That shows me that Cameron is terrified of Jimmy as we
bring in the paper towels.
I really.
bring in the paper towels.
It's true. Cameron
it's
is
great.
so concerned. Didn't she say on
Wait,
one
MVP
that was
right
live?
here.
I'm pretty
Wait a minute.
sure.
Is this vodka? I'm just kidding. No,
I'm
it's
pretty
not.
sure Cameron said on Watch What Happens Live that the Westcott family is anxiety and they can't watch the
It's
show.
tequila.
So I was surprised that she
okay.
appeared on it. I was very surprised that she appeared, actually.
You know what? By Cameron leaving, I said it once, I'll say it again. I actually said it once 3 minutes ago, but I'm going to say it again.
Please do.
Cameron's scared of Jimmy because right whenever Jimmy's name was brought up, Cameron's eyes crossed. She was so afraid of...
She doesn't want to offend her mother-in-law, and so that's
Yeah.
why she left, because she felt as if
She's like, listen... if-
LeeAnne was offending her mother-in-law.
Yeah,
And so
my-
Deandra was saying, like, I'm just shocked and blindsided that y'all attacked me during this cooking blah blah.
Yeah.
But and then Cam's like, well, I'm blindsided and offended that you are offending my mother-in-law for talking.
Cameron's
And,
like, well, I was blindsided. And Cam's like, well, I'm blindsided.
and I'm leaving.
Yeah, and I'm leaving. Well, yeah, she just
I
didn't
actually
be
really
involved.
liked it because I feel like Cameron never gets like that worked up. Like it's
Yeah.
just always
Because her entire reputation is
just
based
shot,
on
like
her.
shakes her head. Like,
Last time she didn't
Yeah.
approve of something and ran away from something was from the dildo.
Oh, that's true.
Right.
So I
At
mean,
least
like,
this was something. I think she.
Right?
I think what it is for her is she's upset that now the Westcott mantle is involved in the Real Housewives drama. Like, I don't think she wants her to go in and have any type of like, storyline. But the woman talked steadily, giving
Exactly.
advice. I mean,
Thank you. You bring your mama to a fight, she's gonna get dirty. That's
Yeah.
how it
Yeah.
works. So
Yeah.
too bad.
She was like,
Sorry,
wait a minute, my
Cam.
whole reputation rests on my marriage. I can't be putting that in jeopardy. And she left.
No, Cameron
I know.
knows that. And like
Exactly.
speaking of mama drama, that's what we're gonna see in the next episode. So let's lead into some predictions, because Mama D is going to be in next week's episode. She's involved. She's getting involved in the drama, y'all. Involved.
Knee deep.
So I am looking forward to seeing what that says, because originally with the talk between her and LeeAnne, she was like, I want y'all to be friends, let's hash it out. But then the clip was Mama D just saying like, she's claiming my daughter is an alcoholic. It's more like, okay.
she's now taken
Seems like-
aside,
yeah.
and it was, of course, with her daughter, she's not wrong.
Yeah.
You need all the help you can get in this life.
I think that Mama D is seeing Deandra, Deandra being pushed around a little bit, and like she kind of is sick of it. She wants to step in. I mean, we saw it with Cameron.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, no, like you do not care what people think about you. You're your own person, and you should
Right.
be confident and solid enough in your own character to not care if Cameron comes up and is mad that you were mad. If she's mad at you, let her be mad at you. You know you're right. Do you know you're right? And Deandra's like, I guess I'm right. So I think that Mama D is like inserting herself more because she's sick of it. Fed up.
Yeah, I agree. I think that Mama D is coming down, and I think as we go into the next upcoming seasons, it's going to be more of a dichotomy between Team LeeAnne and Team Deandra, because Mama D was talking to Brandi like, well, you a drinker too, according to her. So clearly she's standing behind Deandra, and Deandra and Brandi, I would think, are only going to get tighter, and Cameron's going to be out.
Yeah, I predict that what we're gonna see with LeeAnne and Deandra is the final, this is it. Like, this is there's
this
no
is it.
turning back after this fight. One thing I wanted to mention, and maybe it'll come up with the vow renewal that they're gonna have with Stephanie and
right.
Travis.
Vow renewal.
When Travis was with Brandi picking out a ring, she brought baby Bruin, and he said, "Let me have this thing," and then he carried the baby around. Did you catch that?
Yeah, this
Let
thing.
me have this thing.
Oh, yeah, that was funny.
A little odd.
Right, and it was a
$41,500
$41,500 ring that we
Yes.
need to say that is her 10-year anniversary. I'm
Good
like,
for her.
okay,
Stephanie,
wow.
she just
Yeah.
she lives the life, that girl. You know? And she seems like to be like a really genuinely kind person, so good for her.
Humble.
If you want to
she's
spend
super sweet.
$41,000 on me, don't buy me a ring. Buy me like a trip somewhere. I don't want to
Buy
be
me,
wearing.
True.
buy me Jimmy's face.
That's true though.
Oh my
you know
God,
what?
do you
Jewelry
think it
from me
peels off?
carries no weight.
It's a mess.
You know, jewelry from me. I mean, for 41, imagine you can get a nice car for that.
Right?
Exactly.
I do anything. My car's 12 miles per gallon. I mean, come on. Like, I'll take whatever I can get.
Rachel,
I
we
know,
can never live
exactly.
in Dallas again. You realize that, right? We are freaking tainting our reputation.
The Westcott family is going to come down.
Boulevar's not a
Dallas,
very big
Dallas society and the charity scene is going to shun you.
Right?
Your mom works in charity. Let's not.
Well, so there's also
just
the
kidding,
girls
I'm
are going to
just kidding,
Copenhagen too. So that's this is where the fight's going to unfold in
Yes.
Copenhagen. And, all right, yeah. Should we do a little bit of news and gossip?
Sure, let's make it quick.
Let's do some.
All right, so up first, we don't need to play this video because we don't really have time, but Cary, in an interview with People, I think Real Parents Get Real or whatever, Cary had a really troublesome, difficult pregnancy and actually had a hysterectomy after the birth of Zuri and cannot have children going forward, which is kind of a downer. And on another down note, the next article is actually 10 years ago, I should say, not with Jeremy, but Deandra was actually a victim of domestic abuse. And she had this like really abusive boyfriend. And this really came up in an article because if people remember a few episodes ago, they went to the anger room and the manager, the guest star on that episode, the manager actually was a victim of domestic violence and actually was murdered. So that's why they were talking to her about, because she was able to escape and get out of her relationship. And unfortunately, one of the guest stars was not. So anyway, so so kind of a little bit behind sad points, but interesting points about her.
Well, I have some good news that we can talk about. Many of you may have catch Meghan McCain over on my least favorite show, The View. Andy Cohen came on as a birthday guest.
Oh my God.
She talked about, Meghan's dealing with the loss of her father, and she took some time off, and she said she binge watched all 2.5 now seasons of Real Housewives of Dallas. She asked Andy not to cancel the show, and he said it's not going anywhere.
Not going anywhere, y'all.
So, let's go. And you know what? This show, America needs this show to be entertained. So
yeah, and we need this show to keep this panel going.
Yes.
Right? So thank y'all so much for tuning in. Grant, where can everyone find you?
Oh, please find me over on my podcast. It's called Grant's Rants Hollywood Talk. You can find it anywhere podcasts are sold. It's free.
Yay, and it's great. I listen to it. What's up, party people? You can follow me on all of my social media at Erica, E-R-I-K-A-D as in door, Edwards.
And I'm back, y'all, but not for long. My name is Charles Conoly. You can follow me at Charles Conoly.
Yes, thank y'all so much for tuning in. My name is Rachel Robillard, and y'all can find me all over social media at Rach_Robillard. Go ahead and give us a like and subscribe to the AfterBuzz TV YouTube channel. Give us some comments, because we love reading them and hearing y'all's responses to what we have to say.
Yes, and we do comment back.
Yes.
Or
Let
I'll
us
at
hear
least
it.
like something if you say something nice.
Let us hear it. Thank y'all for tuning in, and we will see you guys next week. Take care.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.